マダラ、トビ、好きに呼べ。
お前、一体誰なんだってばよ。
俺は誰でもない。誰でもいたくないのさ。ただ、月の目計画をなせればそれでいい。絶望しかないこの世界に存在する価値はない。
When reality gets too heavy, you open your phone, scroll through other people's perfect lives, watch videos of places you'll never go, build a carefully curated feed that shows you exactly what you want to see and filters out everything that hurts. You're building your own Infinite Tsukuyomi, and you know it, and you do it anyway. Today I bring you an analysis of Obito and how you might be becoming exactly like him. Just to be clear, this is not a criticism of the character. He's my favorite in Naruto, but what I want is to draw a lesson from him so we can learn from him. Obito Uchiha wanted to trap the entire world in a dream, and everyone calls him insane, a villain, a monster who couldn't handle loss. Let's be honest, if someone offered you a perfect simulation right now, no anxiety, no bills, no heartbreak, just endless comfort, you wouldn't immediately say no. You'd think about it. Obito just said the quiet part out loud. Rin's death didn't break Obito. It was just the final crack in a foundation that was already crumbling. The real culprit? The machine that took 12-year-olds, taught them to kill, and deployed them before their brains finished developing. Don't dismiss this as anime exaggeration. In the real world, governments have been handing rifles to teenagers since the invention of war. Vietnam, Iraq, the names change, but the strategy is timeless. Take a kid whose brain isn't fully formed, tell him death is glory, and point him at the enemy. The Hidden Leaf Village ran on a simple equation. Take kids, train them to see death as duty. Make them compete for the honor of sacrifice. Then act surprised when some of them break. Obito's teammate Kakashi had already internalized the logic. His father saved his squad instead of completing a mission, and the village drove him to suicide through shame. So Kakashi learned, emotions are liabilities, people are resources, the mission is everything. He was 13 and already thinking like every middle manager who's ever said, "It's not personal, it's business," while destroying someone's life. Obito hadn't learned that lesson yet. Still thought kindness mattered, that the system existed to protect people, not use them. And you know what the worst part is? The village tolerated this because Obito was expendable, no important family, average skills, the kind of employee you put on the dangerous project because his failure won't hurt the company's bottom line. When their teammate Rin got captured, Kakashi wanted to complete the mission first, standard protocol. And Obito said something that should have been obvious but felt revolutionary.
お前と俺とは元から水と油だ。俺はリンを助けに行く。
お前は何も分かっちゃいない。掟を破った奴がどうなるか。
俺は白い牙を本当の英雄だと思ってる。確かに忍びの世界でルールや掟を破る奴はクズ呼ばわりされるけどな。仲間を大切にしない奴はそれ以上のクズだ。
Those who break the rules are trash, but those who abandon their friends are worse than trash. Think about every job you've had where they said, "We're a family here," but cut staff to meet quarterly targets. Every institution that preached values but sacrificed people for efficiency. Every time someone told you to be a team player while treating you like a replaceable part. Obito was saying, the second you start calculating human worth, you've already lost. Then the cave collapsed. The right side of his body was destroyed. In any real scenario, he dies there. A child bleeding out in the dark while a war he barely understood raged above him. His last act was giving Kakashi his Sharingan. Not just power, his way of seeing. Literally telling his friend, "Look at the world the way I do. See people, not resources." Then he should have died. Clean, tragic. The idealist who fell before cynicism could corrupt him, but Madara Uchiha was waiting in the shadows. And what happened next is the blueprint for radicalization. Madara didn't heal Obito, he rebuilt him, replaced destroyed flesh with white Zetsu cells and Hashirama tissue, kept a dying child alive through procedures he couldn't consent to, And while Obito recovered, trapped and immobile, Madara talked. Explained how shinobi systems create cycles of violence, how nations use soldiers as instruments, how people with power are simultaneously feared and exploited. None of this was lies. That's the thing about effective radicalization. You don't need to lie. You find someone in pain, tell them partial truths about why they're suffering, and let them arrive at extreme conclusions on their own.
But Obito wasn't radicalized yet. He still had hope, still believed his friends would be okay, still thought he could get back to them, and everything would make sense again. Think about that moment in your life, when you still believed the people you trusted would come through, that the systems you'd invested in would work, that if you just held on a little longer, things would get better. Madara let him keep that hope, because skilled manipulators understand something crucial. You don't crush hope immediately. You let it sustain them. Then you orchestrate the moment when it shatters all at once. Obito arrives and sees his worst nightmare.
一体ここはなんだ。
Not an enemy killing Rin, Kakashi killing Rin. The friend he trusted, the person he literally gave part of himself to protect her. And listen, this is important. Rin wasn't a damsel. She chose to die. The Mist Village had sealed the Three Tails inside her to destroy Konoha, so she jumped in front of Kakashi's attack to save the village. Obito didn't know the politics. He didn't know about the Three Tails or the Mist Village's plot. He just saw his best friend punching a hole through the girl he loved. In that split second, the math of the shinobi world stopped making sense. If saving the village requires butchering 13-year-old girls, then the village doesn't deserve to be saved. Rin was the trigger, but the gun was the shinobi system. The same system that sent children to war, that turned Kakashi into someone who could kill, that made Rin's death seem like the only option. How many times have you seen someone break, and everyone focuses on the final straw while ignoring the 1,000 cuts that came before? The coworker who snapped wasn't weak. The job was grinding them down for years. Obito's brain made a calculation, not consciously, instinctively. This reality cannot be true, because if the people I trusted, fighting for the system I believed in, can only save the world by killing the person I love, then the world is wrong. Not sad, not broken, structurally, fundamentally, ontologically wrong. So Obito accepts Madara's plan, the Infinite Tsukuyomi. Trap everyone in a genjutsu where they get their perfect reality, where Rin is alive, where children don't go to war, where nobody loses anyone, and everyone watching calls this insane, evil, the plan of a broken man who couldn't handle loss. Look at your screen time stats. Seriously, how many hours did you spend curating a feed that only shows you what you want to see? You're doing the exact same thing Obito wanted to do. You're just building your Tsukuyomi one algorithm at a time. Quick pause. Speaking of algorithms, this channel is still learning to walk. We are just starting out, and competing with the Tsukuyomi of giant channels is hard. If this reflection makes sense to you, support us. Subscribe, leave a like, and if it appears, hype this video. And if you want to help keep this reality standing, consider becoming a member. It helps a lot for us to stay here. The only difference is scale and honesty. Obito wanted to free everyone from suffering by trapping them in perfect dreams. We do it piecemeal. Streaming services that autoplay the next episode so you never have to sit with silence. Dating apps where you swipe away anyone who doesn't match your preferences. News feeds that confirm what you already believe. And to commit to this plan, Obito had to kill himself. Not physically, psychologically. Obito Uchiha was the boy who felt pain, who loved and lost. That person is a liability. So he murdered that identity and became nobody. Then, Madara. An ideal, a mission, something that doesn't feel because feeling hurts. Think about how many people you know who've done this. Not that dramatically, but the friend who threw themselves into work after a divorce and never talks about anything personal anymore. The relative who turned political ideology into their entire personality so they never have to examine their own pain. The version of yourself you perform online that's confident and successful while the real you is anxious and uncertain. We all kill parts of ourselves to survive. Obito just did it completely. Once you decide reality itself is the problem, morality becomes tactical. Obito manipulated people, orchestrated deaths, stockpiled Sharingan eyes from the Uchiha massacre to use as ammunition, and felt nothing. Because in his framework, he's saving them. They'll all be resurrected in the dream world. This suffering is temporary. The dream is forever. Every atrocity justified by the greater good. Every individual sacrifice acceptable because of the collective salvation. This isn't unique to anime. Look at history. Look at how many genocides started with, "We're building a better world." How many authoritarian regimes promised utopia if you just let them eliminate the obstacles? The scariest people aren't those who know they're doing evil. It's the ones convinced they're saving you. When Obito finally faces Kakashi as adults, something devastating happens. They've switched positions entirely. Kakashi now lives by Obito's philosophy, protects his students above all else, values people over protocol, carries guilt but keeps functioning. Obito abandoned that philosophy, decided caring in a broken world is just volunteering for suffering. And Kakashi isn't just fighting Obito, he's fighting for the version of Obito that died under that boulder. The idealist who said friends matter more than missions. The boy who believed people could be better than the systems that use them. When Naruto finally reaches him, he doesn't debate Obito's logic. He just shows him what Obito's been running from, that he's still in pain, that the ideology hasn't healed him, that 15 years of certainty haven't filled the void. And Obito's response is telling. He doesn't deny it. He says, "So what?" That personal healing doesn't matter when you're saving the world. Obito's redemption doesn't erase what he did. He caused the Ninetales attack, manipulated Sasuke, started a war. But in the end, he remembers something fundamental. Running from pain doesn't heal the wound. Building a perfect dream doesn't make you whole. The only thing that matters is choosing to care anyway. This isn't just about Obito. It's about the choice we make every morning. Every time you reach for your phone instead of sitting with discomfort. Every time you curate your feed to avoid challenging ideas. Every time you retreat into comfort instead of engaging with reality. You're choosing the dream. And I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm saying it's human. We all want to escape sometimes. The question is, at what point does escape become prison? Obito wanted to save the world from suffering by ending reality itself. We're doing it slower. Death by 1,000 scrolls. Drowning in content. Numb by choice. The Infinite Tsukuyomi isn't coming. It's already here. We're just building it one algorithm at a time. One curated feed. One filtered reality. One comfortable lie. Obito was wrong, but he wasn't crazy. He looked at a broken world and decided to reject it. The challenge isn't to escape reality. It's to stay. To look at the ugliness, the pain, and the unfairness, and choose to care anyway. That's harder than any dream, but it's the only thing that's real. Because here's the thing Obito learned too late. Meaning doesn't come from perfect conditions. It comes from choosing to care in imperfect ones. From connecting with real people, not idealized versions. From facing pain instead of filtering it out. The world is broken. It was broken when Obito was 13. It's broken now, and it'll be broken tomorrow. The question isn't whether you can escape that. It's whether you're willing to be human anyway. To care anyway. To show up anyway, to keep choosing people over systems, even when the systems punish you for it. That's what Obito forgot, and that's what we're all at risk of forgetting every time we check out of reality and into the dream.